Okay, so here's our start screen, and the first thing we want to do is we're going to create a new one. And we're creating a standard English inch part. That's the IPT. I is your assembly, IDW would be your drawing when we get ready to print it, and then IPN, presentation, etc. So let's just create a new one. Now I am getting everything that I'm starting off from the PowerPoint that's online that looks something like this. So it takes you through step by step. So everything that I'm doing and showing on here is coming from the PowerPoint. All right, so step one, we want to check our eye properties. So I'm going to go down here to eye properties and set it. And we're going to give it a title. So this one is the MALTESE CROSS. Notice it's all in caps. EDP, let's say 6 period. Author, that would be your first. Last name. Manager, same as your teacher, Mrs. Baxter. Conroe High School. Apply. Now, it really doesn't make big of a difference right now. Truthfully, it doesn't. It comes into play later when we create our drawing or our DW files. And now we're going to set our sketch because some students really like to have the sketch grid mode up when they're drawing. To be brutally honest, I find that I really don't need it anymore. But if you want it, I want you to know how to get it. So, you know, this is what the instructions are there for, because originally this lesson was written by some gentlemen that's how they used it. So I'm following their steps because I didn't create this lesson. I'm just using it. So we're going to go to Application Options, and I'm going to go to Sketch and make sure that grid line is turned on. Okay. This is also a place where you can come in and change your colors, because right now it's in winter night. I might want to change it to one color. I might want it to be high contrast. I might want it to be presentation. It's whatever you want. I actually kind of like presentation. It's one of my favorite ones to use. So your colors right there and the sketch are the main ones that I worry about in here. There's other where you can change your save. You can save your save time here, and you can change it to 5 or 10 like we could in AutoCAD and all those things. But just make sure that once you've done that, if you've set that save time, just save as and make sure it's going to your folder. Make sure it's going to your U drive. Make you a new folder for Inventor, and you actually give it a name. Maltese Cross DDP5. So I'm just going to save it in here so I have it in. So make sure you've done all that. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to change our sketch. So it's back in Tool, and right next to it's Document Settings. And my units says inches, so I could change those here. So where you can change your standard to light. Sketch, we're going to change it to 0.125, 0.125, 1, and 1. And that's just simply because I'm following the tutorial. And close. So here it is, and it's showing you this is what we're creating. So we're going to grow and create a sketch, go from here. So I'm literally just following the instructions. All right, so back to 3D, create a sketch. I'm going to create a sketch here on this front plane, and I'm going to draw a rectangle. It's exactly, or actually a square. It's exactly 1 1/2 by 1 1/2. So I'm going to use that rectangle tool just like I would if I was working in AutoCAD. Except for notice I didn't specify anything, did I? Because what I do is I dimension it after I've drawn it. And I can look, say, yay, now here's something new also, constraints. Here are your different constraints which you can apply. So you can lock it, make it concentric, you can make it parallel, there's different ones. I want to make it equal. So I want this side and this side to be equal. So no matter what I do, I'm going to cancel. So if I come here and I click on this and I say I want it to be 3, it'll automatically adjust this side to 3 because they're constrained to each other. They're constrained to be equal. And I actually like for mine to be nice and perfect. And you can see this is where the grid is, and it works great. And if you love it, great. I actually kind of don't like it. It kind of starts to get in my way. So sketch, there it is. I'm actually going to turn them off because it starts to get in my way sometimes. And I'm going to go back to my sketch. And I want it nice and centered on that point of origin. So I'm just going to draw my 2 lines real quick across, move, select everything. Our base points here to here. And now I can erase those. So there's the step 1. So there's my rectangle, exactly 1 1/2. Now I need to draw a line that's offset from the axis 2 inches. So just like when I was working in AutoCAD, I can offset now. And I want you to see what happened. Just like in AutoCAD, it offsetted the whole thing. So I don't want that. So I can trim, you could delete, etc. And I want it from this midpoint here, dimension from here to here, 2, and it automatically is going to place it out 2. Now we want to draw 2 lines from the side, and we want it to be 1.5. So how do I do that? I go here, draw a line, and I just draw it out. Again, I'm not worried about placing anything right now. I'm just drawing it. Go back to dimension, 105, 105, and let's do some trim now because I want them to be nice and perfectly just that part. So we've trimmed off the unnecessary parts, and now we're going to want to mirror. So I don't want to have to keep drawing this all the way around. I'm going to use my mirror tool, which is a pattern tool. So remember when we did the rings and we did a pattern tool of everything around? Well, we're going to do the exact same thing. So, but we're going to use a mirror command. So come over here and find your mirror. And you have to kind of look for it in here because you're going to probably be looking at it in here, looking for the mirror, and it's actually right here. So I go to mirror and I select this line, and this line. And it's going to ask for a mirror line. And I go to click here, I tell it to apply, and it put it in a weird place. Why did it do that? Well, because that's going horizontal. So those lines that I deleted that I actually, a minute ago, I actually need those. So I go back and draw them in again, and then we can delete them again. So now let's try mirroring this, this, and this. So select your objects, then select your mirror line, and then tell it apply. Select your objects, mirror line, apply. Objects, mirror line, apply. And once you've done that, you're done. We've got that part. So now that we've done our mirror lines, we want to delete everything in the middle. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to just delete it. I'm just selecting it and deleting it. I'm not doing anything special, just selecting it and deleting it. You can even get rid of these measurements because I really don't need them right now. So I have just outlined the Maltese cross. So I want to constrain this and I want to make sure that it stays specific size here. So I'm going to use that dimension tool again and I'm going to tell it to be 4. So I'm going to say from here to here, it needs to be 4. And 4. And if you've done it right with that first constraint, see how it came to 4? And that did because we told the sizes to be exactly to match. All right, so we've done that. Now we want to offset. And we want to offset at 0.125 on the inside. So I'm going to come here, my little thumb, and I'm going to pull it to the inside. And again, I'm not worried about getting it perfect because I'm going to go back and dimension it, and it's going to set it to perfect. So it's perfectly 4. Those are each 0.125 all the way around. I'm going to finish my sketch, and let's do a zoom all. Come here, you. And don't panic when it does that because this is normal. It automatically does this. It's like a presentation view. Don't panic. And now we're going to create an extrusion, so we're going to make it 3D. And we want that extrusion to be 1 inch coming out. So I'm simply going to come here to extrude, select that. I'm going to tell it 1 inch. Now I could have it coming just straight out. I could have it going backwards, or I could have it going symmetrical. I actually kind of like to use symmetrical. That's my choice. And so there it is. There's your Maltese cross. All you have to do is click on the little home button, and then there it's going to put it back in there. Now, you could also come through, and if you want to, you can change your material, because right now the material is generic. You could actually come in here and change it to glass, and see how it automatically changes it to see-through. Maybe you want it to be plastic. And we want it to be plastic, just walnut for whatever example. I probably wouldn't do that, but just to show you that we can come through and change to stainless steel. Let's do sand coat. Oops, that's not what I want. So there's different things we can apply to. Let's just do polished. So there's different materials and different colors you can change for. Okay. I'm just going to actually change it back to generic right now. Just a generic. And then before I leave, always do a save as, make sure it's going to your folder. It's going to the inventor folder there, and it's a part, prot, and save. Now, why does it say that? Well, that's because it's already done. So if I just do click save, it should be saving there. If you're worried about it saving correctly, do a save as, and you might want to call it done, so that you know that that's what it is, and then you can save it. Once you do that first original save as, you literally should only have to hit the save button. But that's only if, as soon as you open your drawing, as soon as you start a new drawing, you go in and you set your iProperties and you put everything in here like it's supposed to be with your title, name, etc. Then you do your save as and you save it into that folder. And then I've gone into my application options and I've gone into save and I've said to set the save time to every 5 minutes. It's going to save now to that file every 5 minutes. So when I get done, then I can just hit the save button. Don't just think you can just hit the save button if you haven't gone through the process of doing the save as first. You have to do that first. All right, there's your Maltese cross.